And you can jump in over at our Oneness Talk Radio call board, and hello, and we love you to everyone at onenesstalkradio.com. Please go ahead and call 517-208-1500. Again, that's 517-208-1500. And remember, if you happen to have an Ascension symptom question for my beloved, incredible Avesa medical intuitive, my beloved husband, raise your hand when you're in the call board. And you do that by pressing *5 or by sharing that with Don when he chats with you and gets you into the queue over at BBS. And so, Sri, I know we could keep thanking people forever, right?
Well,
we keep
yes.
saying thank you, thank you,
Yes.
thank you. And it's let's just go, because it is a moment of coming together. And there's just so much to share.
Absolutely. Here we are in a time of incredible up-leveling, in a time of incredible transition. And I just want to scroll us back a little bit, because the last time we were with you last Sunday, we were talking about how we were moving out of the Mercury retrograde. And what that meant, Mercury turning her heart toward us rather than the
Remember we've
back.
been in that we've now been in that other view, so to speak?
And I know that for those of us that were participating with our Monday Magic program last Monday, Soul Mirrors on Tuesday, and
the arrival on Wednesday, oh my gosh.
There was this...
Woo, right? Can we all just do this?
There was this incredible...
The Neowise comet.
Yeah, the
right?
comet, the whole
let's
thing.
just take it in, right?
So without appearing like I'm babbling because I'm so excited.
No, there's just so much happening.
I am excited because the empowerment energy, the champion energy has been fully empowered to be awake.
It's in your face is what it is. It's in your face. I mean, I'm sorry. Let's just call it like it is, right?
Absolutely. And I know that when this energy comes forward, there comes a moment where we must kind of notice and choose, what are you allowing to be empowered? Are you empowering the comfort zone of the known ego reality, or are you empowering the inspiration of the ever-revealing spiritual reality? Yeah. Because to the ego, the spiritual reality feels a little unknown. It's like, wait a minute, I've been comfortable in the driver's seat, or at least you let me drive on Wednesdays, whatever it might be.
Okay. I'm just as fascinated as you guys are. Where are we going, Sri?
Well, where we're going is that this last week has brought forward the capacity to not only get in our own way, but to get out of our own way.
Bingo.
And so there's been this an amazing empowerment energy, and this is why the pause. What am I choosing to empower?
Yeah. Now, as you breathe into that, Sri and I are going to roll, and I want you to just breathe in this, okay? So what you are staring at, those of you that were with us last Wednesday when we were all here as the Neowise moment came in and that seventh dimensional gateway opened, this is what has anchored. What you'll notice is behind this, you see the door, the open door, and the huge cosmic rainbow bridge, and then you see this beautiful flow, this beautiful ocean of consciousness, and all of the lotuses around it with the winged chalice. Well, this is the integration of the arrival. If you were with us last Wednesday night, we offered you the collage of the four energies. Remember, as Sri opened up with the show. Last week, this cycle we're in right now really began last week with this show. And what you've got to love is that right now, today, just as my beloved was talking about, the Mercury retrograde post-phase culminated and the door opened. This is literally today. You're in it right now. And this is because not only did Mercury come and we've all been enjoying that other view to transit right into that fifth dimensional anchor ship. Well, now we are at this moment where the Neowise came in. And at the night of the arrival, it was this graphic minus what's happening today. The chalice opened. Remember what happened on the solstice, June 21st. We ignited that beautiful solstice during that weekend, and we are now the chalice. We are the living tree of life. And we are still holding open, and it's getting a lot harder, which is why this week is so intense and why we're going to talk about what August is going to be about. And so we are all holding this 33rd dimension. Now remember, if you stand like this, right? If you stand, and I'm talking, your feet are anchored shoulder width apart, your spine is straight, your arms are really up, your head is sincerely open. And if you are like this, in a receiving mode, in a giving mode, it matters not. You can only hold that for so long until you need to either fly, pop, or drop, as we often say. This week, right now, as the post phase of Mercury has finally come to an end, that entire chapter has ended, means what? We are birthing the next level right now. And this birth is going to continue and began actually with the arrival. It began with the arrival. And from the day of the arrival, which was last week, and we're going to show you the ascended numerology of that and why that's so important, until the 8th is the 17 days. Well, today we got an amplifier. Today we got it's like the door opened and the cosmic breeze, this incredible flow, right? This cosmic energy just went, hey, boom, are ready or not, here I come. And that is that 7th dimensional expansion, that chalice. You see the chalice is right there now. But what you see is that at the lintel is the chalice at your ascended heart. That physical body has said yes and is living in a sea of creation. It has said, yes, I am ready to ascend into a new way of being. And the chalice has stood forward and said, are you ready to really go beyond the ego? And that's what brings us to this week. This is a very profound week, and I want to show you guys a graphic. Those of you, let's see, I'm hoping it's this one. Those of you, it is, yay. Those of you that have taken the Bhagavad Gita of Ascension, as I teach the Bhagavad Gita, you have already seen this graphic. And what this graphic is showing you is what just happened. You see at the very, very top, you see as we look at this cycle of spiritual evolution, and this is my interpretation as a Gita scholar. This is how I present this energy. And so as we all are in the experience, remember July is an experience month, as we are all in the experience of our spiritual evolution, of course we are going to see we're going to see everything come in. How many of you are seeing the Tamas so rich and alive in the 3rd dimension? This is where we see that energy of tired or inspired. That's what the inertia is, guys, where we feel a sense of darkness, where we feel we're not good enough, where we're crowded by ignorance, and where we find safety in these energies. Well, the blessing of this is that if you see that blue arrow there, right? This is the moment right now where we soared all the way up. We went through the tamas, the rajas, the sattva, and on the moment of the arrival, we all got together and touched that Atman ignition. It's that 7th dimension beyond. It's beyond the form. It's the freedom from the illusion. And that is the gift that has been gifted to all of us. And today the door is opened and said, okay, who's walking through? The ego or the soul? Because the door has opened on the all. And this is the moment where your ascended presence, August, is all about the dance of the ego. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be about the dance of the ego because that's all that's left to stop you is yourself. And the part that you will start seeing this week is that this wide open energy has called forward all of those energies that do we have the fear dimension graphic here?
I believe we
okay.
do.
I want to start sharing this, but if we find the graphic, I want to put it up because it'll make it easier. But what's happening is that we are all on this spiral, right? This spiritual evolutionary spiral that I was just showing you as we spiral through. And there we are, fabulous. Let's look at this graphic together because here's what's happening. And if your left brain can wrap around what's happening, then your ability to stay anchored in the 5th and 7th dimension. Remember, you are listening to this show. You are connecting with Shri and I because you're ready to say, okay, I know there's more. I get it. And I know there's more, and I am not afraid to be that. And so what's happened is that the 3rd dimension right now is becoming concretized. And we've been talking about this for months. And the planetary thought body has become so embodied with fear that it created this fear dimension in blending with the 4th dimension. And you see that pulse, how we were sharing that this pulse was going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, the pulse has gotten so strong. That's what's happening is when we first created this graphic, the 5th dimension, you see it was created and shown how the 5th dimension was like this huge band, like I like to describe it as a rubber band. And that rubber band of the 5th dimension was saying, welcome, 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 while it was also holding all these other frequencies. Well, because the anger energy has become so empowered. Remember, the all is being empowered, right? So because the anger energy has become so empowered, what has happened is that it's now fear plus anger. And so the outcome of that lovely equation is hate. Yeah. And we're starting to see hate bubbles coming. And so the blessing of this, and I want to go back one more time and show you the first graphic here about the gunas. The blessing of this is that's the experience. The energy, it's the passion, it's the activity, but you see it's that spiritual activistic experience that justifies anger because you have a greater cause. It's beyond the me into a we. However, it pits one we against another. And so we are in that experience month. We are in that month of July. And so, of course, as the all, right, as all is being empowered, as we were opening up the show saying, hey, it's in your face, Master. Spiritual championship is literally in your face right now. And so what's happening is that the 5th dimension is actually condensing. And I want to, Shri and I were talking about this yesterday, and we were trying to figure out a way to share this with you. So let's see if we came up with it. Imagine the 3rd dimension as just a solid fixed object, right? However you want to imagine that, right? So it's this solid fixed hard ball, right? It's a hard ball. And there it is. And it's right in the center. And right around it is this very thin but incredibly powerful magnet known as the planetary thought body. And it's very, very thin, and it's very, very malleable, and it's very, very goopy because it's constantly being fed. It's like a self-preserving goop is the only way I can describe it. And it's aligned with density. And that is what we all contribute to. Yep. And this is why we were given the container practice. Maybe we should stop and talk about that.
Well, it's important to understand that the planetary thought body represents the unresolved energies that are emitted from the human species. So those unresolved energies are the fear, the terror, the anger, the hurt, the tragic stuff. And those energies were not completed. They were just outbursts or transmitted. So where do they go?
Now think about that, right? I think a great way to describe that is when you walk into a room. You ever walk into a room and nobody could be there and you're like, whoa, what just happened in here? That's what we're talking about. We're talking about that unconscious, irresponsible sloughing of energy. And because I want to put a caveat here that Shri and I were offered this practice when we moved into Tosa Ranch.
Yeah, 2003.
2003.
Yeah.
This was like the first thing Zadkiel offered us with this huge discourse about sending the signal back up that we have awakened.
And so the container practice that Kira's referring to, you'll find it at our website, shriandkira.com, and look under the practices area.
Yeah, self-ascension practices.
Very, very useful. when we begin to take responsibility for the quality of our energy field, what we are doing is two things. One is we're sending a signal to the universe that we are awakening to the greater truth of who we are, because we radiate energy. You are an energy field
with every breath
within which your body is suspended.
Yes.
So let's get this in the proper order. Your body is encased. It's suspended by your energy field. You don't actually see
what a fun thing.
You don't really see or feel with your eyes and your skin. You first see or feel from the auric field touching into other energies, and that begins to send a receptivity to the physical senses to open up to that experience.
Breathe that. Really feel that.
So just kind of let the truth of that come in. Now consider that you have an emotional experience, or you're carrying a judgment, and what comes with judgment? Either some resentment or some discomfort energy. Let's just call it discomfort.
And the inability to access the seventh dimension.
It locks you into the perpetrator.
You can get up to the fifth, but you can't get beyond it.
Anytime we have a judgment, we're saying, I am trying to control, or I have a belief that it should have been different, and then all of a sudden we're in a kind of a trauma relationship, either to a lesser or greater degree.
Yeah.
So that sends a signal out in our energy, does it not?
Yes.
And so the point here is couplefold. Hey, wake up to the truth of this and you will discover your mastery. If you do not wake up to the truth of this, you will always be a victim of seemingly external causes.
So breathe that in, because it brings us back to this diagram, right? We stopped. We talked about you have this hard ball, which is the third dimension. And then we had stopped right here. You have this very thin. Every time I actually see it, to me, it looks like bubbling water. It looks like boiling water. And that's because of all the things that are constantly, it is never, ever stagnant.
Well, you know what they say about all the garbage out in the ocean, and then there's that floating junk pile of plastic?
Exactly.
That's kind of what this is, only it's in the etheric energy around the Earth. It's held to the Earth by the magnetism of the Earth and the fact that it was sourced from here.
And you cannot...
It reflects back all of the discomforts.
Exactly. And the key is you cannot think your way through it. The way through the planetary thought body comes the moment you love yourself enough to remember the truth of who you are, and then you're on the other side, and you don't even need to know how you got there. You're able to love it and see it for what it is. So when you are able to be in that moment of holding that divine compassion for you, that loving embrace, and that letting go of thinking that there's something wrong with you, and allowing yourself to be, in that moment, you are beyond the planetary thought body, but you first have to traverse the fourth dimension. And this is like the next part of the journey. And many, many, many beings get stuck in the fourth dimension, because in order to flip on the other side does not mean that you are not without judgment. And it does not mean that you are ascended. It means that you have said yes to who you are, and you're starting to get the understanding of it. Where many stop is they believe because they're on the other side, they've already hit it. And then they lock in at a level of consciousness that feeds the third dimensional ego and gives just enough spiritual confirmation to an awakened being to keep them in a very comfy layer that actually still feeds the lower frequencies, because it's very much attached to ego. And this is where spiritual activism comes in. Spiritual activism is very much about my way is the only way, and as long as you like my way, we can agree, right? That's spiritual activism, and it transcends every belief system. It just is. It is an energy, and it is one of the ways that our consciousness becomes leveled. And you can spend lifetimes in a level of consciousness becoming really amazingly incredible at spiritual activism.
Spiritual activism, all forms of it, have some form of intention about making the density better. Okay?
Yeah.
And so incrementally, it is a step up from pure selfishness, self-absorption. It is indeed a step up.
It's above density consciousness because you've had the awakening. You're aware of the greater experience. Now, everyone will have their own experience of that. But at whatever level, you have had that experience.
But the path of self-ascension, which is a path of self-realization, of awakening, there comes a point where even those positions, those ways of identifying must be transcended. So every step as you climb the temple steps, imagine that your lifetime is you take a step, take in a breath, you take it in, you grab your lessons, take another step. And there's always a little bit of uncertainty at every step, a little bit of wobble until you go, okay, I'm here. I have this level of attainment, it's called.
But your eye is here on the open door. You know it exists.
As long as you keep moving forward, you will achieve that which you intend to achieve. The Buddha was once accredited with saying those that have heard of nirvana will ultimately achieve it, because the truth of it, and nirvana is simply a state of consciousness as well, but the truth of it is known to your soul.
Exactly.
And the yearning will always be there. Now, whether or not it's your lifetime to claim your mastery and move forward, that remains to be seen. However, without clarity of intent, you can be sure that the forces of friction, of gravity, of density will tug you into the dramas and keep you really distracted there for as long as you're able to be hypnotized by them. It's an amazing game board that we live in. It's a delightful thing to transit through. It can get a little whatever.
So let's keep going through
stay.
it, right? Because we're still just at that planetary thought body that went into the fourth dimension. And again, that fourth dimension is in the lower areas, and I don't mean to give it like a lower higher, just that which is closer to our planetary thought body carries a lot of disincarnate beings. So there's a lot of chaos there. And this is why a lot of people are afraid. Oftentimes, I remember, oh my gosh, maybe it was in my early teens when I was very connected with that part of it and unaware of what it was. And it was a fascinating journey. And I remember being very aware of the journeys I was having and literally being paralyzed in my bed, wide awake in these experiences while they were happening, until I was able to train my nervous system. And as you train your nervous system and as you move forward, this is how you are able to relax through it. And so this is why fear is the cork in the bottle, guys. And it fits well. It's a wine cork, and there's a seal over it, and that seal is called anger, right? So first fear will cork it, then your anger will seal it, and then your hate will put it in the case, and it's gone. It's in complete darkness. And so these little bubbles of hate that are coming up are what's causing the fourth dimension to actually get richer, because hate also has an egoic component. In order to hate, you must judge. And in order to judge at that level, it is coming from a very strong egoic position that in the essence is terrified. It always comes back to fear, even though one may look more dominant than another. What's amazingly perfect is that they're both mirroring the same fear, and they're unable to get through their fear. That's where the breath of the fifth dimension opens. That when we release the fear, and it begins with the fear of who we know we are, it begins with releasing the fear of just saying yes to you. Oftentimes we play roles throughout our lives, don't we? We put on our own little masks because we're terrified of just being ourselves and what that might mean, especially if it flew in the face of that which was considered to be either normal or accepted or whatever. When you have said yes to you, there's always going to be a density consequence. That's part of it. However, if you've really said yes to you, then your joy, your freedom, your success, your expansion, your ability to model and be will eventually reflect upon those who might have been the first to run away, who will turn around and say, just like Reverend Ike, that's for me. Yeah. Right? That's for me.
It's a humbling experience living here. And I mean, here meaning in our co-created reality. Because anytime we have a judgment of another being, anytime we have a projected energy, what we're really saying is, I'm afraid that might exist inside of me as well. That I do not choose to look. And when someone does something that really irritates you, chances are there's a remnant of that within you. Now, this is pretty basic understanding. However, it's important to conserve the truth of our own humility, that it comes back a little bit to that he who is without sin cast the first stone. It's the same principle.
It comes back a lot of bit to that.
and so people dance with the intellectualism of, well, I'm just trying to make things better or just or fair.
Right.
I'm not arguing with that. What I am suggesting is there is a spiritual cop-out in investing our energy solely in the correction of density versus investing our energy in our own healing and ascension process.
Well, now look at the difference right there. You've got the out focus versus the true in focus, because within your ascended process, you have the gift of releasing energies like blame. Energy, anytime you are blaming, anytime you are shaming, anytime you are really in the thick of that, then look squarely at your participation in that moment and lift through it. Lift through it, because those are the energies that keep that fourth dimension. They're food to the fourth dimension. Fear, anger, greed, jealousy, all of this is food. And the fourth dimension carries enough mystical power experience that many, many, many are enjoying it there and doing it well. And as Archangel Zadkiel always says, if you're going to go in, do it well, right? And there's a lot doing it well. Well, here's the key. They are all doing that so well that the fifth dimension, in responding to this fourth dimension, I'm just going to call it fireworks moment. Like the fourth dimension is just having a heyday. And that's what's caused the third dimension to kind of come together really solid, because the third dimension is afraid of the fourth dimension. And the fourth dimension knows it, so it can use it. So the two are just perfect victim consciousness beings. Do you see the victim consciousness there?
Yeah.
It's the epitome of victim consciousness. And that's what it wants. It feeds on that. So with the arrival that just happened, picking it up for this very week, this started last week. Now, I don't know if we have this slide. Do we have the slide?
I have to pop it over my
Okay, so
face.
Shree's going to pop over this, but I'm just going to put this up right now. Okay, just so you guys can see it. There it is. Okay. So are they seeing this?
Yeah.
Yay! Okay, so you guys can see this right now. So here we go in real time. This is, how about we make it between the two of us? Okay, this was the Ascended Numerology. If you were with us live that night, you saw that. So this is the Ascended Numerology for the arrival. So in Ascended Numerology, using Ascended Numerology, July is an 11. So when you look at the way this charts, it begins at the 11. Now, what is so powerful is that the 11 is the 1 plus the 1. This is all about us reunifying. Then July, right? The 22nd of July is a 7. So we go backwards. We say, okay, I'm in, but I'm going to go back to the 7. But then the 2020 is the 4 with the double infinite. And this is where all bets are off. Because what's happening here is that as we are at that 11 and we go down to the 7, instead of going around the wheel to the 4, we have said, no, we are jumping into the infinite and we are going to jump out again. And then the entire date of the arrival, July 22, 2020, is the 22 as the 4 again, which means we jump back to the 7 and begin a loop of mastery. Now, the reason this is so important is look at your body. If you are having symptomology, if you are experiencing things, let's begin again. In Ascended Numerology charts on the body as well. Remember, this is the ancient system of the ancient magi and the Essene, that the 11 is actually the divine energy of the left side, which is so feminine and coming in. And this is saying the arrival now. And remember, this was 17 days before the Lion's Roar when the WWDA Global Initiative goes live. And so this was the 11 for this entire month. So everything in this month has been coming in from the outside. So if you are not awake to it, it's going to feel too intense. You're going to get really agitated. You're going to have a hard time dealing with it. You're going to have a lot of head issues, because not only do we go to the 11, we go right down to the 7. Well, the Ascended Numerology of the 7 placed on the body is your 6th chakra. What are you choosing to see? Remember, the veil was uplifted in July. Well, on the arrival, the veil got lifted even higher. And then we go down to the root chakra as the 4, where we ignite the double infinite, which starts suspending our entire body in multidimensional presence. And again, this is why we wanted to show you the Ascended Numerology, because that opened up on Wednesday. And that energy has been building till today, right now, when this door has opened and this cosmic ocean is flooding in. And so you are either going to drown in it, not know it's there, and feel like everything is closing in on you. You're going to be very angry and why is this happening to me? And a lot of that's going to start happening this week. Or you're going to lay out and float on the ocean of divine creation where Shri and I are, and I'm waving to you. This is a blast. This is a phenomenal moment of creation and birth. This is a birth. Yeah. And it is the birth of your cosmic presence. So if you are willing to say yes to the birth of your cosmic presence, the week ahead is going to blow your mind. Because remember, we are building to the August 1 moment this Saturday. And I really think we need to talk about Eid on the 31st as well. But I'll turn it over to you because there's that much more coming this week.
And so one of the things to remember is that you always have choice.
Yes!
You always are sovereign. And that the energies of this time can support your creative application of your divine presence, or they can support your creative application of your vehicle of separation known as the ego. Either one can be supported. This entire experience is divinely supported. So there isn't a right and wrong here. There is a call to clarity.
Well, and that call to clarity is saying, are you willing to become the spiritual champion? Yeah. Champion energy arises at a moment when the majority fall. Yeah. Because for a champion to rise in the world that we have co-created through our planetary thought body, for a champion to rise, it means that there has something has fallen. And that is not to say either is not the gift. For whatever has called you to arise, bow before it and allow it to offer you its blessing. Everything, literally everything, in front of you, around you, within you, as you, has brought you to this moment. And if you are connecting with this show, if you are aware of the awareness, if you are able to stand in the energy of who you are right now, then trust that you have been called to your champion moment. There are all these little hate bubbles we were talking about earlier that are floating around there, and they go through the 4th dimension. The 4th dimension can receive them as these little bubbles. However, when you hit the 5th dimension, that cannot enter, and neither can fear. Fear and hate refine as you move through the 4th dimension. And this is why that fear dimension has come forward. This is new. This has never been before. Even trying to graphically put it together to show all of you was challenging because it came in as a pulse. And it was a very distinct frequency that was so far out. And I remember when Zodkiel first shared it with us, we were living in, I remember it distinctly because we were living in Tosa Ranch, and I remember sitting there almost in a trance drawing it, and it looked like stanzas. I almost thought I was making music, but it was actually these things that we had no idea what they were. All we were told was that this was beginning. And so the fear dimension right now can be so easily dissolved by love. That's all it needs. It's fear or love. You can't carry the two. And if you think you're in love and you're afraid, then pay attention because denial has already set in. And so when we are able to let go of the fear of ourselves, when we trust our own decisions, knowing what? There's never a bad decision. Any decision you make is the right decision when you stop doubting yourself. Yep. And you will doubt yourself more if you keep asking for outside help. And this is something I just want to share is that those of you that have readings with Shri or I, the one thing you will always know is that all of your answers are gifted to you through you during the session. and that we just have the blessing of witnessing that evolve. Call your answers from the depth of you. If you don't know how, take quantum clairvoyance or book a reading, but you are able to do this. This is a moment where you're going to have, remember, August, and we're going to talk all about this next Sunday. Mark your calendar. The August predictions are going to really blow your mind. And we have committed to start doing the full ascended numerology for each month, every month as well, starting with August. So you're going to want to be there next week, right? Because in the month of August, as the ego is really going to be in its last hurrah for the dominion of who you are, it is a choice month. So you are going to be making choices like all the time, all the time.
You know, the wonderful thing about being an energy being is you can make a new choice every moment. The choice is the active principle of consciousness plus energy. It moves forward when the choice happens. And so it's one thing that I think is useful to remember is that fear is transitory. So often when we have a moment of insecurity, a moment of our expectations weren't met, the pulse of fear, which is a natural human thing, is immediately reacted to as if it were a character flaw or an announcement of something worse about to happen, versus a pulse and it goes.
Yeah.
And so fear and anger, therefore, are often deeply hooked together because anger is the emotion of self-protection. Anger is the forceful, it's a push energy. It's saying you have violated my beliefs or my body or my emotions in some way. And so I am now pushing you out. I want distance because I'm protecting myself. But if you look a little deeper, you'll see that there is fear associated with that.
Yeah.
Somehow a fear that I will lose who I am or have an injury beyond my ability to repair.
Now, I want you to really breathe that in because with the veil being lifted, are you really willing to see what's in front of you? And are you accepting what you're seeing or are you repelling that?
Yeah. It's a wonderful opportunity to be conscious. Remember that we are on a healing journey. Many people say, well, the spiritual path is a healing path. It is.
Absolutely. Ever refining.
Because the reality of being disconnected from oneness means that we are fractured in some way. We are disconnected. A separation has occurred. And we won't get into the metaphysics of that. Let's just say we seek to heal that. And that means we're also healing those fractures inside of ourself, whatever hurts from childhood, whatever hurts from later years, whatever judgments and unfinished business we're carrying consumes our energy. So how can we be in the present moment if a big chunk of our energy is tied up into past injustices and hurts?
Well, now this is spiritual activism.
It is spiritual activism. It's also spiritual wimpiness. Because
but it's the same thing. Because think about it. It's all centered around, wait, do we have that graphic? Let's see. I'm going to say, yes, we have this graphic. There it is, because it's all this. It's all the victim triangle. It's all the third, that concretized third, that fourth dimensional egocentric basis that is saying, I really like the victim, rescuer, abuser model. I love it. And I'm just going to keep reforming it. Yeah. And when we get into spiritual activism, then the victim, abuser, rescuer becomes our spirituality. Well,
or principles out in the world,
right?
Groups.
And then we justify. Remember, think about that. Then if we're justifying, then we're already in a positionality, are we not? So then we justify our retraction from our higher self because it's comfortable to be with another group of angry people. Then you don't think there's anything wrong with the anger. You're justified. And we are not condoning anything. I want to just put our little caveat in here. Yeah. What we are inviting you to do is to recognize that when you can hold the ascended presence and be the model of higher consciousness, you can actually have a greater effect on the outcome because you are holding the energy of the restoration of balance. You're not feeding it from within. right? Remember, right? You can never solve, what's the Einstein quote? I'm going to mess it up.
Solutions do not arise from the level of consciousness that created the problem.
Breathe that in. And so if consciousness goes down, not only is there not a solution, it anchors the problem at an even deeper level of concretization. And that's what this week is going to do. This is one of those weeks where, because this door is wide open, that beautiful, see that sea of creation there? There's people they're drowning in it already. And so they're going to violently react because this week, the floodgate opened. And it is a 7th dimensional invitation, which at the very least, and you'll at least be sitting there in the 5th dimension in full recognition. And I'm not inferring that there's anything wrong with that. I'm saying relax into saying yes to you. What if you try on being who you are? What if even you just do it 2 hours a week when you're with us for this show? Because the gift of us coming together is that as community, not only are Shri and I sharing what the week ahead looks like, we're also coming together and creating this incredible container where we are all in the moment of a balanced energy of exchange, of giving and receiving. That's how you break free of the victim triangle. You know, the it is more blessed that to give than receive really keeps you wrapped up in a lot of guilt, doesn't it? How about it is equally blessed to give and receive? That it is a balance. It is an exchange. Is not everything flow? When we hold on so tight, it slips through our fingers. When we let go, yes, it bursts.
You know, it's funny how over time, deeper levels of truth simply are recognized. And to say it's better to give than to receive has its pros and cons. But if I were to rewrite it, I would say it is better to give than to take.
Yeah, loving that one too. That's great. I like that, Shri.
So that's right up there with thou shalt not steal, huh? Anyway, here's a little offering I want to give to your awareness. We are marvelous beings. We are magnificently created.
You're crazy incredible.
And the amount of energy at your disposal is awesome.
Yes.
Now, what I have witnessed over the years and learned through the application of the science of medical intuition is that we survive even with a fraction of our available energy. Yeah. You can survive. You can have your wheelchair or your drugs or your treatments, which may be really necessary. I'm just saying you can survive with only a fraction of your energy available. What would happen if we resolve more of our past hurts and pull that energy out of those congestions into present time? What would happen if we release our dependency on fear-based realities and beliefs and instead align with expansionary realities?
Well, here's what would happen.
Hang on a second.
All right, go.
What would happen is the amount of energy at your disposal will reverse most all of your afflictions.
But you've got to believe enough in yourself to do it.
That's it. You have to take the leap.
Only you can do it. Only you can say yes to you.
You know, so in part, that's why I'm still here today.
Definitely why you're here.
I have discovered how to do that. And if you are sincere and you want to resurrect your life, come be with us for a month and we'll show you how to do it. But you have to be willing to let go.
And to really do it. And that is one of the exciting things that's happening here at Tosa Blue Mountain is that as we announced on Soul Mirrors last Tuesday, remember every Tuesday night is where Shri and I usually make our surprise announcement of the week, and we do have one again for this week, this Tuesday. But last Tuesday we announced that Tosa Blue Mountain has officially established itself as the Self-Ascension campus. And so we're very, very excited. We are the place that you would want to come. If you really want to, we're going to be much more yoga of self-ascension forward here, meaning that when you come to spend time with us here, we do have a weekly schedule of self-ascension experiences that happen here all the time. You're welcome to participate in them or not, but the key is that we are at a moment where each of us has to look ourselves in the eye and say, am I tired or am I inspired? And through our inspiration, what we know is that we are blessed to be here at what we really feel is ground zero for self-ascension on the planet. And I want to share a story with you that happened on Thursday, because Thursday, Sri and I did something we have not done. We have lived here 3 years. We have sent all of our guests, but we have never gone to Piedras de Aguas. And it is this incredible, oh my gosh, it's the, real thermal hot springs and the real
oasis.
mud,
Yeah.
only like an hour from Tosa Blue Mountain. And we were inspired to go because Patty and Crystal, who were just here for the Cosmic Origins experience in July, went. They went one day and they looked so amazing when they came back. I looked at Sri and went, that is it. We are taking 4 hours and we are going. So we went, and OMG. So because of the COVID, the entire spa is by reservation only. And so you are the only people there. It was crazy.
Well,
incredible.
this facility has about 5 or 6 swimming pools, and
all volcanic water.
all with volcanic thermal water, lovely temperature, and very filled with nutrients.
Right.
You
Oh
get in
my
the
gosh.
water. The water alone is healing.
And we were down in these caves. It was so freaking cool.
And so their specialty is they have a red mud and a blue mud.
And a coffee scrub and a salt scrub that was like crazy.
And so you get in the thermal water, relax a bit, and then step out and apply the mud all over your body.
Awesome.
Make yourself look really fun.
Yeah.
And let that dry. And of course, as you know, it extracts so many toxins from the blood and the skin, all come forward. Get back in the hot water, rinse it all off.
Yeah.
Now go to a different hot pool and check that one out for a minute, and then apply the blue mud, which has gold, silver, and other minerals in it, which now
Incredible.
is providing incredible nourishment. So I know that these kind of therapies exist all over the world, and we're so delightfully wonder-filled that not only does it exist here, it's coming right out of the mountain.
Yeah.
And the thermal water.
Another part of the reverse aging,
and
for
it's just,
sure.
It's authentic. It's right there.
Oh, yeah.
And you're in giant tubs of hot water to deal with it.
And then they put us in individual steam cabinets with fresh eucalyptus. I mean, come on, could you ask for anything more? Where we were then whisked out to our private lunch, the entire restaurant seating for us. And it was just great. And guys, it was $49. You got to get down here. I mean, come on. And so we were like, thank you. It was our first and only moment off. We won't see another moment off again now until probably November. And so it was very exciting. But the reason I wanted to share with you, other than I think we were enjoying our reminiscing moment of our 4 hours, the first 4 hours we've had off in 3 months, that our driver on the way home, I was sharing with him about what's happening here at Tosa Blue Mountain. So hopefully last week you were here and you saw the video. And we could always play that same video again today, Shri, if we wanted to. Maybe we will instead of the other one. I don't know.
Well,
but the reason we wanted to play this video, or that we played this video last week, is if you are not caught up, we have started uncovering through our spiritual championship of this mountain and protecting it ever more and more. It turns out that there's most likely an entire city at the top of our mountain. And we have started excavating from the top down. This Wednesday, we will be going up there and getting you more film for next week's show. So you're going to want to be here for that as well. But here's what happened. Our driver, who was bringing us back from the spa, when I was telling him all about, hey, you've got to come climb up and see what's going on here.
Because it's a huge complex.
I mean, massive. We found interior courtyards. I mean, there's a lot going on. And so when I shared with him what was happening, he almost stopped the car. I mean, literally his mouth dropped. And he looked at me and he said, Kira, when I was a little boy, my grandmother used to point over toward your house, because he literally lives across the valley,
yeah.
and can see us from his house, even though it's like, I don't know, it's way across the valley, many, many kilometers away. And he said, I know it was your mountain she was pointing to. And I said, well, then you have to come and look. And so it turns out there is a huge myth, lore, and we are going to ask the grandmothers to come on Wednesday, and we are hopefully going to film them for you. And we'll have a translator there, our beloved Dr. Lorena. So we'll be filming them, quiet down what they're saying in their native language while she's interpreting for us. But there's a lot of myth, and they call this the lost city of the ascended ones. And so I want you to start really, do you get the chills? I freaked out. I was like, what? And then he said it again. He said, look, he said, if what you're saying is happening, he goes, everybody has always talked about the lost city. So that's some of the newest information that we have, but we do not have any photo documentation of that other than what we had last week.
Yeah, but it resonates so deeply because our spiritual path has always been to be in service to our divine guidance and the expansion of the awakening energy, the ascension that is upon this planet. And we were guided here to become custodians of this property, and now more and more is being revealed.
And this week, I want to share that this Friday is a very powerful day, because this Friday, and I'm probably going to say it wrong, is Eid al-Adha. And the reason that we should all be lovingly present to that is because in many ways, I feel like it's Archangel Zadkiel's day.
Yeah.
This is the day of the celebration of Abraham not sacrificing his only son. And as many of you may or may not know, Archangel Zadkiel is the angel that is credited with holding back the hand of Abraham. And thereby, as we have been working with the lessons of light, the lessons of living in the fifth dimension and Archangel Zadkiel, tomorrow night, Monday Magic, I really encourage you, if you're already registered, try to be there live. This is Zadkiel's week. As I'm even sharing this with you, do you feel this? Now, for Zadkiel's energy to be so profound this week, that means we are all being invited into the energies of mercy and compassion. And they need to begin with ourselves. Mercy, so that you can ignite your higher presence. Compassion, so that you can stay anchored in the fifth dimension. August is coming in with an egocentric roar. It is another month of profound shift, and it is a month of choice. It's going to be an anomaly. August is going to be a month, thankfully, that will be an anomaly. So July is the entry, and September will be the exit. Remember, profound shift, profound shift, profound shift. So really breathe in the energy right now of knowing that your veil is up in this last week of July. It's Zadkiel's week, the week of mercy and compassion, of holding the energy of mercy and compassion for yourself and everyone else first. Meet with mercy and compassion when anger seeks to swell, and we can watch those hate bubbles start dissolving and the planetary thought body start lifting. And the fourth dimension feel a little less eclectically electric, so that the fifth dimension can relax again. Because the fifth dimension right now is condensing. It's like it's having to, right? It's that how long can I hold open this chalice moment? That's what's happening.
It's a powerful, wonderful week.
Yeah.
And I want to bring your attention to something we'll talk more about in the coming weeks. And that is, August has long been known as the lion energy, the Leo. What's conspiring in this year of 2020 is that this force of call it empowerment, has the opportunity to either be the steadfast commitment of spiritual clarity and the championing energy of saying, I align my purpose, my passion, my power. I align it with my spiritual truth.
Right.
This isn't a need to dominate in order to find strength. And that's the shallower expression of the Leo energy, of the domination, is the belief that force is required, the belief that I find strength in those who have submitted to my intentions.
Well, this is victim, abuser, rescuer.
It is.
I mean, it's just classic victim, right? That's when you know it's third
to
and
me,
fourth.
it just seems almost comical to even talk about it.
It is comical.
but it exists, and it exists quite strongly in many political institutions around this world.
Which are also spiritually activistic. It's called spiritual activism.
But these are also institutions that are on their last gasp.
Exactly. And the last gasp are the ones that are usually right at that density spiritual activism border where it's like, I am not going down, no, it's always been this way. Think about the masculine energy. I just have to jump in because this is very masculine. This is very, and it's like, we'll just beat everybody up till everybody's dead, right? And I know that's a terrible way to say it, but that's what it is. I mean, we're in a moment where density is saying, look, if I hit you enough and you have not enough respect for yourself, you will fall.
You will conform.
And that is what's happening to your consciousness. And forgive me, but it is a war for your consciousness. And you are being assaulted every time you give your power away to something other than your heart. And so just breathe that in.
And this is the fundamental truth that is motivating the upcoming series, the WWDA
Exactly.
Global.
That's where I was going. I love we have one brain.
And it's just so important. We're just hoping you get it.
So please get it.
That this is, these are 4 Saturdays.
Starting on the Lion's Gate, 8/8.
To champion your empowerment, to heal the feminine issues and to nurture the arising balance within men and women, to heal the wellness issues that are keeping you from having your full energy, and to heal the spiritual habits of separation that inhibit your awakening and the final ingredient of mastery. That these 4 sessions are your... I have stereotypes in my brain. It's more than a ticket. It's more than an opportunity. It is a reflection of the truth of what is seeking to emerge within you, and sometimes a little mentoring will bring it into fruition.
Right.
And we are here to mentor you into full ripening of the truth of you.
Now, I want to share that with you because I do want to share one thing. When we heard the call for the WWA Global Outreach Program, we knew that it had to be August. We were already aware through the Up-Level calendar, which we'll be talking about a lot at Mastery Mentorship this Saturday, so be there. We knew August was going to be there, and we knew that there would be a need for all of us to gather every week in August, over and above this show, Monday Magic and Tuesday. I mean, literally, we're saying August is one of those months where we're going to grab hands and we're not letting go. Right? We're here. This is another April moment. I just want you to hear that. When April first came in, Shri and I were the first people on the air that said, we are here with you. We will be with you. We will do whatever we can do. We are still in the midst of feeding a lot of people. And again, those of you that are with us on Monday Magic, your donations are keeping a lot of people alive. We thank you. We honor you. If you are not part of Monday Magic, join us. You can come in for $0 or even just $1 helps us feed another person. So please join us because this is Zodkiel's week. Yeah. And this week, right now, this energy that we're in right now is taking all of us to the core. And what is the core? It is the center of your resurrection energy. And everything is going to go out there. And that's why this week is about, it's Zodkiel's week. Mercy and compassion, violet ray energy, support. Because this week culminates on the 1st with August coming in as its own little anomaly month, where starting right there on Saturday, just to give you your lineup, right? Get our app, Spiritual Mastery with Shri and Kira. Just here's your to-do list. Download the app. It's free. Spiritual Mastery with Shri and Kira. At least get that on your phone. Start using it. And it's everywhere. You can find it anywhere. And then join the Miracle Team. Become part of Mastery Mentorship. You can be a part of Mastery Mentorship for as little as $2 a week. And in that, you will be there this Saturday because we are jumping into August with a roar. So again, all of you Mastery Mentorship members, get there, be there live. So Saturday, we'll be with you every Saturday in August, not just starting the 8th. It starts this Saturday, the 1st. Then it will be Shri and Kira Live, Monday Magic, Soul Mirrors. And then we go to Saturday with WWA Global. Learn about it, be there, wwaglobal.com or go to shriandkira.com. This week, you can still join the entire program for under $100 with payments, and that's going to end on Friday. So take advantage.
Yeah.
Plus our back end Facebook is doing very well.
Yeah. A lot of community support and personal attention. The difference is that this is more of a workshop kind of environment where there's a lot more interaction
and you get
support.
4 free gifts plus instant access to Sri, Jess, and I the minute you register. And that's what I'm talking about is the private forum where we are in the middle of that 17-day challenge. So get in there and say yes to you. This is a big month of support. You're going to want to have your tribe around you this month, because if you say yes to that, if you say yes to yourself this month, it's going to come back to you infinitely. You are going to have an incredibly creative, soar-filled, open door month of creation. If not, it's going to be intense. It's going to be intense no matter what. So the question is, how do you do you want to use that intensity to inspire you and birth new things? That's what WWDA Global can offer to you. And it is for both men and women. And I am excited to say that we're picking up a lot of men registrations.
Good.
Thank you, men, for jumping in. Any of you women out there looking for the man of your dreams, he would be in WWDAglobal.com. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay, come on in.
Hey, we met online.
It's one of the things that is so important is to recognize that we, each of us, exists as a wholeness of the yin and the yang energy. Yeah. And when one is swung out too far into the yin or too far into the yang, that is a wobble experience. And that wobble over time creates imbalances in our capacity to orchestrate our reality.
Yeah.
Meaning to be the master that you are, let alone all of the emotional and other stuff that comes along when there is an imbalance. So one of the best things we can do for ourselves and for our children is to model that healthy, balanced, empowered energy of the male, female in harmony.
Yeah, that's the way we restore. That's the invitation, right? That's the chalice, that's the rainbow that says, I am holding compassion for myself into the 5th as I release that judgment through mercy. And as I arise into that field, my heart pours out for all in the recognition that all deserve to be and harmony is. We're calling back in the balance. It's just out of balance. It's not that there's bad and good. It's just out of balance. And so we're going to take a moment of balance. And today it's just going to be about 3.5 minutes, but we are really excited because during this moment of balance, in this moment of birth, I love how Berea did this. We're going to bring you another very special Berea Rose segment. I know a lot of you have been, hey, where's Berea Rose? So we're excited to say she is right here. We'll be back in about 3.5 minutes. And in the meantime, enjoy this tip that certainly something we do is a lot of sprouting here at TBM.
Hi, everybody. I'm here right behind Clinica Linda on the river, and it's Saturday morning. And today's video on how to sprout beans comes as a request from beautiful Colleen, who was here just last week for the Cosmic Origins event. So thank you, Colleen, for your request, and we miss you all already. So today we're going to talk about sprouting beans. Here at Tosa Blue Mountain, we sprout all of our beans before we cook them. Black beans, garbanzos, lentils, and more. The reason we sprout all of our beans is because beans, as well as certain seeds and grains, all have a protective natural coating on them that prevents insects and certain critters from eating it before the bean has a chance to begin its life cycle. And this natural coating is hard on the digestive system and can actually reduce the body's ability to absorb certain minerals. And an added bonus, sprouting your beans actually increases the levels of vitamin B and C within the beans themselves. So sprouting is very fun and easy to do because you get to watch the process of birth, growth, and life manifesting every day in your kitchen. So let's go ahead and pop on over to the kitchen and get started. First, we're going to pour some dry beans into a bowl and fill the bowl with some water to soak our beans overnight. Our beans are going to double in size, so we want enough water to keep them covered all night, but not too much that our bowl overflows with water. Now it's the next morning, about 12 hours later, And you can see that our beans are much larger now. I'm going to drain this water, fill it with fresh water, and let it soak for another 6 hours. For best results, you want to soak your beans between about 18 and 24 hours. Now, place your soaked beans inside of a colander. The idea here is that we want to simulate a perfect environment for sprouting by giving it air via the holes in the colander, water, and with this paper towel, a little covering so that it's as if the beans are under a little layer of soil. We are going to keep this here on the kitchen counter and rinse it every day, at least 3 times a day. How many days will depend slightly on your climate, but here at Tosa, we can get sprouts on our beans in just a couple of days. You can also use sprouting jars, which is really just a mason jar with a mesh lid on top. And these work really great, and we use them all the time. Here we are 2 days later, and already we have these little sprouts coming out of our garbanzo beans. They are now ready to be cooked with a little salt, cumin, and a bay leaf or 2, or however you like to cook them. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you end up sprouting beans at your home, or would like to share some other creative inspiration from the kitchen and your lives, and you can share with our community over at the Lineage Holder Facebook group at the official Shrinkira Facebook page. See you there!
And see you here. Hey, can we all give a big applause to Berea? Was that the best? Thank you, Berea. And I can share that today at lunch, Shri and I had those sprouted garbanzo beans as hummus, and it was fabuloso, made by the one and only Aparna, who also has been making her own tahini on site. So maybe we can talk her into making a video as well, because things are really doing well as far as the whole cooking scene here at Tosa Blue Mountain. And I'm always excited. As a matter of fact, for our Cosmic Origins group, this was the first group we tested Ecuador's famous chocolate wine, and that was a very fun moment. We also did sourdough pizza out of our pizza oven, so that was really fun.
Yeah, but it's important to bring a little enthusiasm to your cooking.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that sprouting your lentils, your legumes, and your beans not only increases the nutrition, it increases the life force.
Right, you're eating
because
life.
The bean is now alive and active. And I know I can certainly feel the difference, and my digestive system can handle it so much more easily. And it's just a blessing to do this. So we offer this to you. Many of you will go, oh, yeah, I remember this. Well, let's make sure you're doing it.
And it's so easy. Don't be afraid. I know it can be intimidating when you first want to start sprouting. You're like, so start with like a 1/4 cup, right? You put a 1/4 cup of beans in a mason jar and pretend for a couple days, and you'll get over that.
Well, and all those things that she showed you pictures of make fabulous veggie burgers.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So you start mixing and blending these sprouted beans together, and next thing you know, you've got very creative ways to.
You're reminding me that we didn't eat lunch today. Now I'm hungry.
Let's talk about food.
Yeah, really. Let's not in the moment, but I am excited for when that moment comes later on. And so welcome back, beloved ones, and thank you for being here during this extraordinary week. As we jump back into our beautiful community hour with all of you, I want to remind you that you can jump into the phones. We're going to start taking those calls pretty soon here. 888-627-6008 over at BBS Radio. Remember, if you have a question for Shri about an Ascension symptom over there, please let Don know so that he can let us know. And, of course, over at Oneness Talk Radio at 517-208-1500, where if you have a question for Shri, you will want to press *5, right? And that will raise your hand.
That'll kind of flag saying, hello, I want to talk about my body.
Yeah, I've got a question going on here. And this is why we showed you, and I want to pop up again. Can we pop up the Ascended Numerology again really quickly?
Yeah, let me grab it.
We want to just show you one more time the Ascended Numerology that came in for the arrival, because this was a very powerful Ascended Numerology. And the reason we want you to pay attention to this is starting next week, you'll want to be here next Sunday. We are now going to be offering you the Ascended Numerology like this for every month, including the up-level dates on the wheel. Because when you gaze at this, and I'm not going to go through the whole definition again, if you missed the first half of the show, go listen to this part again. I want to talk about the body. So remember, this entire month is that 11. It is that inflow of the divine feminine energy.
So the 11 corresponds to the left side of the body, and the left side of the body symbolically is representing that feminine energy. The yin energy is receptive, is it not? And we receive our future. So it's about the receptivity energy. It's about what's about to come, or the fear of what's about to come.
Well, and here's what I love about this, and this is why I wanted you guys to look at this again. So this entire month, remember, the veil is lifting, Neowise comet, the arrival moment, the way that we had the powerful week of 7 days and 7 years, right? So everything in this month is coming in. It is a tidal wave of multidimensional feminine presence that is riding in. I often feel like Durga, right? We are all riding in together saying, we're here. We get it. We heard your call. It's as if we have been, how we're often called the travelers by Archangel Zadkiel, and it's even his week, right? That we are often called the travelers because we move between the dimensions and arrive in timelines where we are needed. And so when we are needed, we are activated. And we all consciously chose earlier this year when we did our first time slides, we consciously chose this moment. There's no getting out of this. You're here now. So like it or not, whatever you asked for when you slid in your time zone, whatever your overall sacred intention was, that is playing out in this experience now. And the moment you see that, you can relax through it and create into it. And that's what July is setting the stage for, because check this out. We come in as this huge feminine tidal wave of divine energy. And where do we hit the body? Third eye, the brain, the vision, the male. It is the male energy is getting assaulted right now, and it's fighting back. So what did it do? It retreated down into the root chakra. Do you see this? Look at that arrow, the top there. The 11 left divine energy is the first number coming in this month, and it comes right into the body like an arrow, like an incredible wave, hitting the brain, hitting the third eye, and then out of fear, it dives down into the first root chakra. What is that all about? Safety, sex, dominion, me. I care about the basics. Get me in a house, give me food, give me a distraction, and leave me the F alone. That's what that's doing. But then, I love this, because the year is 2020. In any other year right now, this would be a very dismal picture. But here's what's so amazing. You see that pyramid? That's the 2020. It's the 22 as the 4 with the double infinite. I love it. I mean, you just got to love it, right?
The infinite brings such creative energy
and it's
forward.
A double infinite. And so you see what happens is from that red circle, which is where a lot of beings are staying, the double infinite was born. This energy is so intense that when it came down, when it integrates, when you say yes to that feminine energy, you see that arrow shooting out there. What happens is not only do you catapult beyond the third dimensional bubble, which is the inner red circle, you free yourself immediately into the violet flame of creation and anchor in the fifth dimension. And the only thing you need to do is say yes to your divine feminine rising. And again, this is not about sex. This is not about gender. This is about the energy of the divine feminine. The door has been opened. And so it is about all of us, of all genders, of all ages, standing together as one voice, saying, we are here, we are ready, we are open, and we get it. And we have become contributors instead of takers. Yeah. We are active instead of passive. We are aware, thereby we are present for the experience and awake to our choices. That's the blessing that is opening in this very minute. And the question is, with your veil lifted and with everything in front of you, are you able to gaze at it with compassion and mercy? that we are loved so much that these wings are Archangel Zadkiel flying in and saying, I will hold back the hand of destruction. All I ask is you have mercy and compassion for yourself so that you may remember who you are and fly and soar with me again.
Yeah.
This arrival began on the 22nd. Those of you that were there with us, watch the video. Watch the video. If you were not there with us, we are going to make the video available on a donation basis. It will be up on our website, hopefully by tonight. Go to shrinkira.com. This is an important moment. The more that you connect with the arrival, and this is why it is available as a donation basis and why we are not making it widely available, because it's so sacred that those who are ready for it will find it. And it is so precious that it's worth the dollar to know that it feeds a child. Yeah. And it's worth a few more dollars to know that you are loved beyond belief. We are at a moment right now of saying yes to who we are. And so breathe that in. Breathe in you. This is the moment of you. The universe is in your face. We talked about this at the beginning of the show today. And as we're sharing this, we just want to share that our cat is once again jimmying, opening the studio door. I hear the jimmying. We don't. So if a cat suddenly,
glass door,
we have done everything we can. So we'll see if he shows up. Apologies ahead of time.
Well, I think that's a sign of the energy
of the lion energy that says, I will not give up. Yeah. And I'm coming in with a roar, you know?
Yeah. And so, beloved ones, it's so important to, we were talking about Archangel Zadkiel. Mm-hmm. One of the things that really touched me so deeply in the early years of the blessing of direct communion with this archangelic energy were two sentences or statements that were given.
Yeah.
And one of them was Zadkiel saying, you can't mess this up.
More than once.
More than once.
More than once.
If you start to fall, we will catch you, was also offered. But the reassurance that you are a divine being having your earthly experience, you cannot mess this up. Go have your experience. And the other piece was you can't mess this up is be present to what you're doing, because if you don't enjoy it, you can make a new choice. If it isn't in alignment with your emerging authenticity, you make another choice.
And the choice,
awareness,
right.
Experience, choice. We keep cycling. We're awareness, experience, choice. It's when doubt gets a grip on us and we fail to be actively involved in our own creative expression that then we suffer.
Right.
And that, too, is a choice.
That we often make more than once in the victim triangle. Yeah. But I want to go back to the first thing you said, which is when Zadkiel said that you cannot mess this up. Yep. Because you cannot mess this up was Zadkiel's kind way of saying, let go of the doubt.
Yeah.
Because doubt is the shackle. Doubt is what holds you back. You get inspired and then you doubt. You say yes and then you say no. And this goes back to what we were sharing right before we showed you that amazing birthing sprouting video, is that we are all at that moment. What are you birthing? What are you bringing forward? What are you saying yes to? And are you saying yes, or are you 1 foot in and 2 back?
Yeah.
Right? Doubt will put you in shackles. There is a war for your consciousness, and your ego has sided against your soul. And so now the divine within, right, bringing that body and that soul into oneness is the nuclear weapon for your ego, right? Because when the ego sees that, oh, I can trust me. Oh, I can trust this. Oh, I love me. When the ego sees that, it becomes the most inspired, creative blessing you've ever had, because it can finally relax and receive the information that is then transmuted through that brain of creation into third dimensional experience like that. And that's the law of instantaneous manifestation. And that's why it's as simple as can be, but it comes with a big warning sign. You got to let go of being afraid of you. You got to let go of the doubt. And only you can do that for you. And here's one of the things that I think is a fun secret around that. The closer you are, the harder it'll feel. I want you to take that in. And especially when you're at that final moment, the moment where it's right in front of you, everything you've ever wanted, it's right there, is going to be the moment when your ego will dredge up everything.
Very subtly
because it
shifting
knows,
the coloration of your life.
Your ego is freaking out because it knows it's gonna win, that you're gonna win, and it's like, oh my God, I don't know what else to do. And in that moment, if you can be your own hand and say, I've got you, I won't let you go, I've got you. In that moment, you're on the other side. And nothing will ever feel like that again. But only you can walk through that open door. And that door opened today. Remember, the door appeared with that 7th dimensional Neowise on the 22nd. That's when the arrival came. But it's been kind of like, showing you the crack, right? It's like, oh, there's something coming over there. But it's today with the release of, this is the last day of that post-Mercury phase. We're wide open. So when you're wide open, it means you're either available and ready to lift, or you're afraid to be seen and you contract. Yeah. That's what's going on, guys.
Yeah, a powerful time and a time to remember that fear and doubt are the weapons of the ego.
Oh, yeah.
They are not tools of your soul. And so anytime it shows up in your life, you can go, oh.
Gotcha.
Oh, how powerful you think you are.
Exactly. It's so fun. It really is. And so speaking of fun, you guys have waited so long. We have phone lines packed everywhere. So Sri, where are we going first, my love?
I think we have a caller from the 929 area code over here.
Okay.
Let's just say hello.
Namaste and welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hi. Namaste. Welcome.
Great. I get to speak to Sri.
You do.
I like speaking to you, but I'm always talking to you, Kira. I've always gotten my soul readings for you, and I think I need to ask a question about my Ascension symptom. Is teeth. I've been having so much trouble with teeth. Is that part of an Ascension symptom?
It can be, yes. Yeah, so let's just back up and I'll share some information that you might find helpful. Your teeth are part of your bones. Your bones are foundational. What are you anchoring on? Am I anchoring in trust, or am I seeking to survive? So let's just unpack that a little further. The very basic energy of my orientation toward the world is either one of trust or one of having to manipulate, having to survive, having to compete. Those two frequencies are conflictual, and that can create a conflict in the gums that support the teeth, because the teeth do one more thing. They offer your nourishment. They break down the nourishment into digestible pieces. Yeah. So you start playing with the symbology a little bit, and then you have to apply it to your personal situation. So the symbology of the teeth is, I am willing to work with what is in front of me to make it manageable and compatible for my experience and my needs. So that's one broad stroke to understand your teeth. There are micro understandings because each one conforms to a meridian, and there's other stuff there that's beyond the scope of a conversation here on Sunday. However, I do want to say to you, it's important to get clear as you do self-care around your mouth and your teeth and your gums, to get clear that I am loving my life and I am safe to experience that which is before me.
And to digest it, I hear.
Yeah.
I also hear, and to digest it. This is, your teeth are also, just as I'm feeling in with this, as Sri was sharing, I'm also feeling a direct connection with your third chakra. So this is also tied to, you're at a moment of big transition. Yeah. You're getting ready for a big up level is all I will say. And it's like I feel almost a grinding energy going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And your third chakra going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It's like the two of them are working together.
I keep going back and forth, and I'm not going to do it anymore.
I see it. It's cute, honey.
Realize it now.
Yeah, it's cute. I see it. It's just adorable. And so, yeah, it can be gone with a smile because that frees those muscles into a different pattern. Laugh at it.
Yeah, and so the final thing is consider shifting your diet just a little bit to that which is more perfectly compatible to the new frequency.
Yeah,
which is going to be more green foods, more fruits, lighter foods. Whip some things up and you make your smoothies. That kind of thing will give those bones a little rest, but will provide high nutrient value into the body, and it shows a conscious decision to lift, elevate your nourishment.
Yeah, and also nourish yourself by finding a comedy you love and go binge on it. We love you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Namaste, sweetheart. Yeah. No, everybody smile. Are you smiling? I hope so. And hey, that was one of the things we did on the arrival is we actually opened up that night with a fabulous song inviting everyone to sing. So again, those of you that were with us for the arrival, go watch the video again. This just anchored and it started on the 22nd. If you were not with us, it will be available for donation later today at ShriandKira.com. And Shri, we're going to go over to BBS Radio now, the 800 number line.
Let's go over to BBS.
All right.
And it looks like on line 1 we have Archana from New Jersey.
All right. Hey, namaste. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Shri. Hi, Kira. So
Hey,
nice
sweetheart.
to speak with you.
Nice to speak with you.
I would love to get a mini soul reading from you guys, and I had a question about Ascension as well. In the last few days, I have been experiencing a lot of almost like wind, like a wind tunnel in my ears, and a little drumming, and then it keeps going away. So is that something which is also part of the Ascension symptoms?
Yeah.
Thank you for asking.
We appreciate it. Anytime any of you share what you're experiencing,
it helps us all,
lots
right?
of folks. So consider for a moment what Kira was sharing earlier about the ascended numerology of July and the coming into this sixth chakra. And that
I'm putting up my chart because look at that, right? This beautiful feminine coming right in there.
One of the most classic places the ascension energies affect us is in that entire crown area. Your crown governs your organs of sight, your organs of hearing, and your endocrine system. And this is something people don't talk about often, is that when I'm getting all this energy, it can make us feel like our hormones are out of whack. You can have unnatural fatigue. You can also have a, quote, unnatural hyperness or a moodiness, a reactivity energy. And I sense that some of that is true for you. And then the ears are the organs of hearing. And so the dimensional background noise, you could call it, is something that you're going to start perceiving along with those energies that have a message for you specifically. So it's all good. It's just that we have to relax and go, oh, wow, I'm lifting. And, like on the airplane, there's a moment where there's some turbulence.
But, I want to jump in, sweetheart, because it really ties in to the soul reading around you right now, which is that you're being trained. They keep using the word trained all around you. At first, I thought you were on a train because I just kept hearing train. And what they're saying is you are being trained, that you are, it's not that you're out of balance. It's like you're going in between dimensions more as like a stairway than a smooth transition. And so it's a little challenging. And so it's like you're being attuned to a frequency, literally. And part of this for you is around your breath. They're saying that if you are able to really take, I'm hearing 5 minutes a day. Even if you did it 1 minute 5 times a day would be fine, but 5 minutes a day where you really focus on that in through the nose, all the way up into the crown, down, out, very slow and really focus on that and just relax. And like I'm saying, even 1 minute done 5 times a day would work. They're saying that everything you're looking for is right here. but it's stuck in this imbalance, and it's why this energy is literally pulsing through your body. And this is really, I'm glad, Shri, you mentioned about the ascended numerology. I mean, you are really literally demonstrating the energy of this month. So the other piece of this that I want to share with you, as I was mentioning, is about Archangel Zadkiel. So Zadkiel's offering this message is take care of you.
Yes.
Put you in the spotlight right now. And from there, it will all manifest. And so thank you for the blessing of connecting with you again, sweetheart. It is a gift.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. We
Our
love you,
pleasure,
sweetheart. Namaste.
Namaste.
Ooh, everyone taking a breath, huh?
Oh, yeah, let's breathe together. You know, one of the things that I'm reminded to remind each of you
I love when that happens.
is that, of course, things are going to be felt differently in your bodies.
Yeah.
And that we, as beings, as I was sharing with her, your 6th, 7th chakras are dramatically affected.
Yeah.
And that when we have a little bit of understanding of these chakras govern certain bodily functions.
Really important to remember.
And that the endocrine system is
Yeah.
directly affected by what's going on in your 6th chakra. So a 6th chakra that is out of balance, meaning not at its full potential, is very much wrapped up in old traumas. It can't see what's before you because it's too busy looking at what's already happened.
That's that third dimensional spiral, right? That's when we get stuck.
And so when we when we look at someone clairvoyantly and try to offer them perspectives and techniques to help them move into liberation, into having their energy back, it's sometimes 6th chakra issues are directly affected by the family of origin imprints. You know, and we all were imprinted by our family of origins, and sometimes quite strongly.
Well, and that's important to remember right now, because in this week, remember, this week is very much about mercy and compassion for the self. You know, if you've done our forgiveness practice, good time to dig it out again, right?
Yeah.
This is a great week. Remember, mercy and compassion for you, mercy and compassion for all, and to just stay in that creation, because the creation this week is going to be great. We're birthing, it's birth energy, and sometimes birth has a little pain with it, but it's always worth it, right?
Yeah.
So.
Another Ascension symptom that we haven't talked a lot about is the lack of need for much sleep.
Yeah.
That people are waking up more, and they're waking up at early hours that aren't their common pattern.
True.
Because there is enough energy. The body's received the rest it requires. There is enough energy coming in and stimulating the endocrine system to give you some extra juice as well. And so these are all part of the intersection of your physical form with your level of consciousness and the greater environment that is bathing our planet.
How exciting is that?
We
right?
exist at an intersection.
We are so excited. And so, you know, Shri, there's another, I see some hands raised over here. I'm going to go right over here, and I assume I just hit select, and we're going to say hi to, it looks like Amy, who has her hand raised. Namaste, Amy. Welcome.
Hello, dear.
Hi, Amy.
Hello.
Hi. Namaste. Welcome.
Welcome. And it's Sue, not Amy. I'm using Amy's phone.
Well, welcome, Sue. Nice to meet you.
Many blessings.
I'm having trouble. Several years ago, I put 2 compression fractures in the small of my back. And it has been hurting ever since. What can I do to get rid of the pain?
Well, yes, that's a perfectly appropriate question.
And thank you for asking, sweetheart. Thank
So
you.
as we look at the lumbar area, especially, this is a foundational area for your energy field. It's about your support at all levels, your emotional support, feeling safe and nourished by other beings. There's elements there that tie into financial support, of feeling enough abundance that you can relax. And also it ties into the energetic flow, the spiritual flow of being willing to allow a spiritual, call it paradigm, to dominate those areas. Whenever we have a fracture or an injury in the spine, it's saying I'm being called to look at my core beliefs about the nature of my being. And so this is what my invitation to you is. You've tried whatever you've tried, other things. And I would invite
I tried everything.
Well,
Good.
yeah, I'm sure
good.
you have, and that's good. That's how we discover where we need to go.
And there comes a time where we have to just surrender all ability to control it and instead try to get behind the picture a little bit.
Yeah, can I jump in?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in, Angel, because you have this incredible group of beings around you, and they're like screaming right now, and that's why I'm jumping in. So much so that my ears are actually itchy. Because the vibration that's coming in is so strong. And they just, and I'm just going to let them speak, and they're powerful, and it's like their energy is coming right through your back. I feel like I'm being blown forward right now. And they're saying, you must move more in all areas of your life. And that's what one is saying. And then another one is saying you have got to stay committed to that which you know will free you. And then another one is saying, I am speaking. Are you ready to hear that which is to inspire you? And this fourth one, that's 4, which is perfect balance. They're speaking right now. And this fourth one is just staring at you. And they're all saying the same thing. Get real with yourself. Get real with what it will take and do it. And they're saying that the doing will not be as comfortable as the one who sits in form would enjoy, yet the result will be that which you have desired, and from there the next life shall begin. And I just want to bow before you, because I have personally gone through this moment. And I've shared with a lot of people on the air, Sri and I were talking about how was I going to live in a wheelchair here at Tosa Blue Mountain. And I know what it's like to be at this moment. And so what I can share with you, just from me to you, my angel, is that to be at this moment in this week right now, and that you got through on the show right now, means that you are being offered a moment of grace. You are being gifted with an opportunity. And we all say thank you for that blessing to witness that moment being offered to you right now. And so we love you, honey. Namaste.
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 Namaste. Whew, and I want everyone to really breathe and receive that, because those 4 angels were very profound. And I'm using the word angels generically. They were very, it would be, I don't even know what other descriptor I could put on these beautiful beings. But what I'm needing to share with all of us right now is that Sue just helped all of us to receive 4 things that are important to remember during this moment. And the one that I know is radiating very preciously with what we were talking about earlier in the show, and certainly with the Ascended Numerology, is that, remember, we are at a moment where there is an absolute downpour of divine feminine energy hitting a masculine energy mind. And that has blown open. This door did not gradually, it blew open. And today it's at full open. And so how are you receiving that? Are you flying in the wind, or are you being blown away by it? Because all is the experience, all are in this experience right now. And so I think it's power-filled when we come together as a community. I think it's power-filled when we listen to each other's calls and receive each other's questions and sharings. And your gift of presence is something Sri and I treasure, because without you, we are not, right? We are all one. We are the one energy. Together, we are better. And in a month where everything is going to be thrown at your ego, mercy and compassion, ignite it in Zodkil's week. You will be given, if you're getting tired holding open right now, if that 33rd dimension is starting to feel a little overwhelming, Zodkil just offered you the wings of protection. Let Zodkil's wings carry you through this week. Remember, this posture will shift to a very beautiful celebratory posture on 8/8, the Lion's Gate, WWDA.com. How to say that.
Check it out, or go to ShriKira.com, and at the homepage you can click through. Say, I just feel called to share a little healing perspective. So thank you, Sue, for your sincerity and your vulnerability,
absolutely.
and talking about the pain. And spinal pain is nothing to joke about.
No,
debilitating.
it's not.
I want to offer a couple of perspectives that may be useful to people. And one of them is that the purpose of pain, one of the primary spiritual purposes, is a call to unity.
Yeah.
Pain is a signal from the soul to bring your consciousness to that which is beneath the pain, meaning it's not about the physical as much as what is represented through the physical. Yeah. So pain is a call to unity. Mm-hmm. It's also a call to surrender the automatic worldly habit of seeking to control. Mm-hmm. Now, this doesn't mean, if we have a pain or you get a spider bite, you don't take your Benadryl or do whatever. That isn't about, that's being responsive to the antihistamine or whatever's needed. It's not about that. It's about using pain as a tool for spiritual acceleration. And usually we don't get to that moment of that choice point until we're really on our knees. We're seeking to do battle with it, to control it, to modulate it, to distract ourselves. We go through all of those things. And I have been through all of those things myself. And I really know in my heart the agony that can come when the pain just is interminable. And when we can get behind the pain, using our breath and our consciousness, to go beyond the surface pulse, the surface radiation that is so dominating, and use the breath to get underneath there is a moment of spiritual release and empowerment that awaits. And so I offer that as encouragement to all of you that are working with your bodies as a teacher for how to live a more spiritually focused life. Your body will help you. And that it isn't the normal journey. The journey is one of a different quality of surrender that oftentimes is not our first choice.
Very true. Very true. And Shri, I want to really feel that blessing as we dive into another caller. And we have so many people that have been waiting so long. So, we're going to go over, it looks like we're going to go to where, Shri? Does it look like Newton, British Columbia, Canada? All right. Newton, British Columbia, Canada. Namaste and welcome. Hi.
Hello.
Namaste.
Hello?
Hi, welcome. We can.
We hear you now.
We hear you just fine.
Oh, good. Well, I want to thank you so much for everything.
Well, now we're having trouble hearing you, dear. Speak
Sweetheart,
directly.
We're not hearing you now.
Oh, okay. Let me.
Okay, we hear you great now. We hear you great now.
Oh, good. Oh, thank God. Okay. Yeah, I have a question for Kira. I've had some heart problems, and I've had a few heart attacks, and now they say I have like half a heart left. I mean, the other half is like not there anymore. So I have, low energy and low blood flow, whatever. And I don't know. I was hoping to.
I want you to stop and breathe. Just stop and breathe. I got this. And I want to share. Just breathe. Relax. As a matter of fact, we're going to put you on mute because we're getting a lot of distracted. Yeah, there we are. Okay, so here it is. As you breathe, what I want you to really experience is the recognition that you are half here and half there. Whenever we accept a prognosis of density, it is an acceptance that the physical body adjusts to. However, As we ascend, and if you were not ascending, you wouldn't be listening to this show right now, no matter what you're judging yourself to be, right? As we ascend, what we remember is that our spirit is able to activate and regenerate. This is the whole presence of reverse aging that Shri and I have been modeling, right? Your heart is saying, you only need this to keep this portion going. It's enough. And the other hasn't died. That's the reframe that you're being invited to know, which is why you got through today, which is why your call was picked to be on air. When I want to give you an example. When I was told I had to have a hysterectomy, and there really was not any choice, it wasn't one of those borderline things. I remember Shri and I taking days before the procedure, replacing my third dimensional uterus with a crystalline uterus energy. Not allowing anything to be dead inside my body, but allowing my crystalline womb to come into presence. And when we look at our time together, I had to do that. That was absolutely perfect for who I am now. So what is your heart inviting you to know about your crystalline nature? What is the beautiful blessing that you are, that you have yet to embrace? Your energy field is saying, I'm tired. And your crystalline heart is saying, I'm inspired. Are you ready? Do you want to be more than this? Because if you do, let's do this. Let's soar. So this is a moment of choice. And isn't that what August is all about? So I celebrate that you are so powerful that you have had to have your veil uplifted and literally put in your face. And I can share with you that I know what it's like to be so tired you can barely move. I know what it's like to spend all day in bed and put on my makeup right before a show and have just enough energy to be here with you guys and go collapse again, because I did that for 2 years. So I know what it feels like. And I can tell you that if you make the choice and you say yes to the crystalline nature of who you are, get ready. So, perfect moment to call in, my love, and thank you for the honor of connecting with your beautiful heart. You are a blessing. Namaste.
Namaste.
Oh, thank you so much. No, that was so helpful. I think I better start connecting with my crystalline heart.
Yes,
right
yes.
away.
Now the door is open, right? It's the part. I mean, do you get how perfect this is? This is the universe saying, "Hey, it's right now. You don't have to wait." So, thank you for helping us all. We are grateful to witness this birth today. Many blessings, my love.
Much
Mwah.
love.
Namaste.
And blessings to you too. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste. Shri, look at what's happening today.
Yes.
You know, in this beautiful birthing energy of this week before us, of Zodkiel's week of mercy and compassion. Wow. I just want to share again, those of you that are with us on Monday Magic, make sure you're there tomorrow night, because of course we've been anchoring living in the fifth dimension, and now Zodkiel is saying, I will welcome you into the seventh. And so another powerful sharing ahead tomorrow night. And then we're going to be culminating this moment on Tuesday at Soul Mirrors, where it's just going to be Shri and I. There is just so much going on this week that we need to keep sharing. This is a very big week. It is the culmination experience. It's going to be a fascinating ego journey with an open door to be living in the seventh while receiving support to stay open. Wow. Right? That's why together we are better. Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's just take a breath for a second.
Okay.
And it's really very, very helpful to pause throughout your day, hand to heart.
Yeah.
Conscious breath.
So.
You can very quickly, in the matter of a few seconds, restore your balance. When we move from one stimulus to the next stimulus to the next stimulus, we start getting bombarded with a state of being partially disconnected from our higher truth and our higher energy. And we become acclimated to that sense of off balance. And we start to call that our normal. We might joke about it. We might say, oh, my life is so stressful. Right. Really? Really? Or rather than confront any of that, how about just add in some conscious breathing throughout the day?
Well, even as our caller, 1 minute, 5 times a day, right?
1 minute, 5 times a day.
That's all you need.
It doesn't take very much worldly time to sustain your true peace, love, and joy. And from that perspective, we start making healthier decisions that are more aligned with our essential truth rather than coping with the insanity that we invested our energy in. And believe me, we all have done that for many years as well.
Well, but that's part of the journey,
that's
right?
Part of that. That's where your wisdom is cultivated.
Exactly.
You know?
That's that spiritual discernment ladder. I mean, we are really at the ultimate moment of that, where it's been okay as we've been cultivating, as we've been moving, as we've been coming around every one of these. I always see it as like I'm out, I'm riding out on this big prairie and, there's nothing. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, another ladder, just when you're most tired. And yet, if you keep saying yes, if you keep looking up, and by looking up, I mean that very figuratively, meaning if you keep your eyes on the divine at all times, that is the moment where nothing is heavy and everything is illuminated. And that inspiration that pours in is immutable. Yeah. Because the doubt is gone. And I want to remind you one more time, I want to put up once again what is happening this week. We already have hit an Atman moment. That was the arrival right there. We were all able to jettison, regardless of where. If you arrived with sincerity, love, and conscious presence, then you were aware of this seventh dimensional experience that happened on the 22nd. However, this experience happened. How it was received, and you see the way that these rays of light are illuminating and going in many ways. How it was received will totally depend upon the spiritual evolution of the being. Yet all beings had this shower of gifts come forward. So it all comes down to the choice. And this is why, again, you want to be with us next Sunday. August is coming in as a profound choice month. And it will be an anomaly. Mm-hmm. There is a lot Shri and I have to share. This week will become intense, intenser, intensest, etc. And that is why we are going to do it together, because why not let it be intensely amazing? Why not let it be intensely bountiful, intensively filled with the best, amazing, birth-filled, creative, momentous, active presence ever? That's all here for you. And that's what we're going to hold over the next few days. So join us on this ride. Say yes to you, because you're in a big moment, and August is going to be a profound shift within profound shift moment, and a lot more about that next week. And of course, first dibs on that Saturday on August 1 at our Mastery Mentorship Gathering and Ceremony, when we will be together live to roar and initiate the month ahead.
Be together is a blessing.
Yes.
And for those of you that have been helping spread the love in the chat today, I say thank you. There's been lots of happy faces and smiles and hearts and all of those expressions of support. And more importantly than whether or not you put any lines or words in the chat, was that your presence counts.
Yes.
We live in a world of energetic balance. And even though when we gaze out into the world and we may say things look a little unbalanced to me, consider stepping back from the picture and noticing that there is a great intersection of, call it the higher frequencies and the denser frequencies at work to just sustain what is before us. Mm. That each one of us that is holding the positivity of the pure connection to the divine, of the positivity of the energy of true creation and love, is offsetting a whole lot of negative energy, which is weighty and disconnected. Mm-hmm. It isn't that you have a job to do, it's that your presence matters. You are felt. You are contributing. You are important. And we are glad and delighted to be with you.
You're the lion getting ready to roar. May this week assist you to walk through the door of consciousness into the law of instantaneous manifestation. We love you.
We'll see you next week.
Namaste. Thank you for joining us at Shri and Kira Live. To have your questions answered, send us an email to guest@shriandkiraradio.com and check out more information at shriandkira.com. See you next week. Namaste.